Hello again, everyone. Tuning into the next episode of the So Not PC podcast /vlog with Rob Adomus. I figured at this point, after listening to the SNC-Lavalin scandal open up here over the last 3 weeks, and of course we had Jody Wilson-Raybould, the former Attorney General and Veteran Affairs Minister, who was fired originally as the Attorney General and then resigned in her last post after only a month there, had her testimony the other day. And I wanted to take a look at what the aftermath was going to be, because Justine Trudeau literally put a gag order on Jody and on his campaign trail. And so everybody knows he is on the campaign trail. He's going across the country trying to buy votes by all of a sudden opening up the wallet for supposed potential jobs and so on. Well, let's take a quick look at the job situation. Tens of thousands of jobs which should have been created or should have continued on disappeared. And we can talk about Energy East, Kinder Morgan, all the troubles in Alberta and really across the country. Now, given whatever poll you may be listening to, legit or not, according to something that I listened to yesterday, which I know to be completely fake news, is supposedly 70% of Liberal voters are not concerned with the SNC-Lavalin scandal and will vote Liberal again. I'm going to call BS on that one, because those polls are coming from Liberal-funded media outlets, the mainstream media, which, of course, typically the viewers who are tuning into my show and others of the same kind tend to know, we're in the know, that these kinds of polls truly are fake and who originates them and who they're actually talking to. So those numbers are skewed at best in the favor of Liberals. True polls, and from my insider sources, the Conservatives are quite far out in front, but then again, we need to remember something. Come October, when the election is actually happening, you folks need to get out and actually vote. And pay attention, if those votes are happening on specific voting machines, you need to know who owns those voting machines. Because a name that most of you know, George Soros, owns the vast majority of those so-called Smartmatic voting machines under a guise of different titles. So, this being the case, not only is there a protest against the carbon tax, the loss of jobs, just the multitude of problems that our country is having, something that may be overlooked at this point are those voting machines, which from my research and a lot of other people's research is finding that the 2015 election was rigged. Okay, we can go back to the fact that the Tides Foundation, one of 200 plus offshore organizations that George Soros funds, put at least $6 million US into Mr. Justin Trudeau's campaign. So, you know, if you've been watching my podcast now, the vlogs, what do I always talk about on this show? Do your own research. Okay? Again, I give you information that I have researched, and in my view, with all the confirmations or what turns out to be not true, I will only give you 100% verifiable information. But I need you to constantly go out there and do your own research. And then if you find the same things, great. If you find something different, you can get a hold of me. Remember, I put it out there. If I'm wrong about something, I'll be one of the first to admit that I'm wrong. Okay? So anyway, getting back to the SNC-Lavalin scandal, I have a lot of respect for Jody Wilson-Raybould, not only in the position that she was in previously, but for her integrity in coming forth and not being pushed around by Justin Trudeau and 10, as I call them, co-conspirators, because there were 11 individuals who were part of this, part of the PMO's office, in what Jody described as veiled threats to pressure her to change her mind to not go through an SNC-Lavalin investigation. Now, to put something out there, I'm just one person who's not really a reporter, but I do very heavy, deep research. I have great inside sources. But for most of you, if you want to get a very good breakdown of what transpired and what this scandal is all about, I highly suggest you go to YouTube and pull up Michelle Rempel, Conservative MP from Calgary Nose Hill, about a 9.5-minute speech that she did in the House of Commons the other day to give a breakdown of what this whole scandal is all about. She talks about what a fake feminist Justin Trudeau is. And that, if people haven't realized that by now, then I don't know what I can say in order to change your mind, because he doesn't even know what that term actually means. And this needs to continue to move forward towards an investigation. And I understand that 5 former attorney generals have signed a document that states the RCMP must investigate this. Now, here are the words thus far that the RCMP have given for this document, because Andrew Scheer, the leader of the Conservative Party, has gone so far as to call for that investigation. Jagmeet Singh, NDP leader, a lot of people have done so with right reasons. Well, the RCMP's reply thus far is, "We'll look into it." Okay, that doesn't exactly incite a lot of credibility or faith or hope in what they may or may not do, because for those of us who study this, we know the RCMP has been told to stand down by the Liberal Party. All these scandals, SNC-Lavalin is just one in many. Since this came out, and this is the news of the day, it will continue to open up as to other pieces of what this is going to actually look like in the end. And it opens itself up to other scandals. Now we know that there's a shipbuilding project that is another scandal. Well, I guess if you go into the Liberal Party's history, and let me explain something to people. If this was the NDP, if this was the Conservative Party, the PPC, Green Party, or whomever that this scandal was about, I would be saying the same things. Because ultimately, for 37 million Canadians, what do we, I believe, have in common with each other? That is a love for Canada, I would hope. So this is not me being someone who hates the Liberal Party. I hate what the Liberal Party, Justin Trudeau, his 182 co-conspirator MPs are doing to the country. And if you're not upset by this, and if you're not willing to do something about it, and at the bare minimum share this information to awaken others, what does that say? Inaction is actually an action. And that tells me you don't really care. And you might be telling yourself you do care, but if you do nothing about it, then I suggest otherwise. So I'm not here to come down on the Canadian citizens. I'm here to bring everybody up. I'm trying to incite action. Okay, this show that I'm doing is just one little thing by one guy. And hopefully a lot of you will watch this new video, you'll share the information, and you'll go forward. And you'll take the necessary actions, calling your local MPs, regardless of what party they're in. Okay? Get together with groups of individuals in your area and have discussions, hold town hall meetings. Get together with all kinds of age groups. Ask them why they think the way that they do, if they're even thinking. Because honestly, a lot of people don't even think. They close the door behind them at the end of the day and hope the world just leaves them be. Well, unfortunately, what's going on in politics, and as much as that is a jaded word for a lot of people, what is going on in our country and around the world, in the world of politics, affects all of us. And you have to understand that. So, when I talk about Michelle Rempel, she is one of a handful of MPs in the House of Commons who is fighting this sort of thing. And I appreciate that, because you have to want to fight for your country. Now, I'm not saying specifically to be violent about that. That's not what I'm promoting here. What I'm promoting is when you see something like SNC-Lavalin, who has paid $47.7 million to Libyan individuals on fraud and bribery charges through the years. SNC-Lavalin has a history of this. This is nothing new. And then I'm hearing the people of Quebec. Well, I'm not sure exactly who the people of Quebec, they quote, polled for this. But the claim from the Liberal Party is that all of Quebec is on SNC-Lavalin's side, claiming that it's going to lose thousands of jobs. And then you had Candice Bergen, the opposition leader for the Conservatives, call out Justin Trudeau in the House of Commons as to $30,000 for prostitutes to Muammar Gaddafi's son. Here was Justin Trudeau's reply. It's for Canadian jobs, saving Canadian jobs. What? I didn't realize $30,000 for prostitutes was somehow saving Canadian jobs. Maybe the Kinder Morgan situation, which $4.5 billion for nothing was spent on, the getting rid of Energy East, which would have created thousands upon thousands of jobs, not only that, billions of dollars in revenue for all of Canada. I think those jobs are more important than a prostitute's. Now, you might not agree with me depending upon your personal opinion, but I'd like to say the vast majority of people would agree with me on that. So Trudeau's reply was beyond a joke. Just like when he spoke in the House of Commons that low income tax people in Canada don't pay taxes. I'm not sure how you can get more stupid than this so-called leader is in this country. So, what's going to be the next step? Well, Jody Wilson-Raybould said that she is going to run for re-election, but she's not leaving the Liberal Party. Now, a lot of people, including me, have a lot of respect for what she did, because she didn't cave to this illegal pressure from all these individuals who are lying and saying she interpreted it differently. She didn't. She's a lawyer. She's a very smart individual. She's been around this game a long time. And for her to go up against her own party members, I'm sure was very, very hard for her to do. But that showed the honesty and integrity of her. So, as much as there are some people now calling for her to run for Prime Minister, well, here's my suggestion to Jody, which I don't think she will take, but I will throw it out there anyway, is that she should walk across the House of Commons floor, and whether she runs as an independent or joins another party, the idea of her becoming Prime Minister would take on a much better effect. Because I personally will not vote for the Liberals. Liberals are only about certain things. That is higher taxes, bigger government, constant corruption, and their inner circle gets paid, and the rest of Canada gets screwed. So, I know a lot of you who are going to be watching this video fully understand that. And believe me, I respect all of you for doing what you're doing to get awakened, to get learned, and turn this information around as often as you can. Now, I said in the last show, how do we change others' opinions? Well, you just need to be a friend. And you have to be non-conflicting with people with this information. Because some people are so hardened by who they voted for forever, they never change. So don't beat your head against a wall in the attempt to try and change somebody who's not changeable. But there are others like the millennial group, for example, who just don't understand anything about politics a lot of times from what they're telling me. So spend time with them and talk with them about these things and explain them. And make sure that you're getting proper information out to them. So, as we all go through this process, I'm probably going to do some more live feeds. I did a couple of them. Post testimony for Jody and after the fact, in order to provide some people with some up-to-dates. And as we go along in this process, as we get closer to October, taking back Canada is an absolute necessity. And how to do that, there's not one size fits all in how that's going to happen. But it does require everybody getting out to vote, because we can't have only 26% voters come out like they did in Burnaby South, apparently, and Jagmeet Singh, who went into that riding, he doesn't even sit there. That's not his riding. But he chose somehow to get elected there. Now, there's a lot of people who are claiming an investigation is needed, and maybe it is. However, if only 26% of eligible voters showed up, that's only 1 in 4 people, and that is pathetic. As a Canadian, from 18 years of age up, you have a God-given right to vote in this country, provincially and federally. So get registered and make sure to vote, and you vote properly. So that's it, everybody. I'll probably do a video, hopefully no later than like a week out from here. And I know people have been suggesting and commenting about wanting to hear more content, and believe me, I'm very humbly appreciative of the fact that I'm getting those kinds of replies and suggestions from you, because I certainly do want that. But I'm a very busy guy with regular work and so on, so this is something that is extra for me, and I'm doing it because of my love for you, for Canadian citizens. So this will get uploaded on my YouTube channel, SONA-PC Podcast/vlog with Rob Adomus, and will also be going to my website, www.sonapcpodcast.com. Please view it, share it continually, and I hope that whatever information that I'm putting out to you resonates in some way. I'm really trying to make sure that everybody realizes how important all of this is, not just to me, but to 37 million Canadians, and what it means to our country to not become a UN slave. So until next time, do your research, stay learned, keep the faith, because something is happening here where a lot of people are losing faith. You have to have it, even in the toughest of times. So God bless you and your family in all things, and good night.